What is going on, my beautiful people? We are in the car on our way to work, and it is extraordinarily sunny out today. Hopefully you guys can see me a little bit, but I wanted to talk about a draft strategy that I deploy, and I've been deploying it for years now, and it is one of the best things that I do in terms of getting a solid foundation on your team. What that strategy actually is I go running back heavy early, no matter where I'm drafting in the draft. I mean, my first 2 picks, unless there's some weird anomaly that occurs, and where everybody takes running backs with their first 2 picks, it's going to be running back for me. And then on the third, I might go receiver, or I might go running back a third time. But 3 running backs, I want that running back depth, because running backs are the most injury-prone players there are in the league. So not only do I go running back heavy, wide receivers, they're so replaceable. I mean, yeah, you maybe not your top 3 guys, but your top 3 guys that somebody passed on, a tier 2 or something running back, or even, the number 12 running back versus the number, 3 wide receiver. It's not even a contest. I mean, in my mind, the points are basically the same. So why would you just go with the guy that's going to get the most touches and secure that position? And then there's kind of a break-even point where the running backs start to be worth less than the receivers that are available, right? So then that's when you target your wide receivers. And I always come in with, you'll grab somebody. The beauty of it is if you can get some top-tier running backs on your team where you got two guys that are studs, you got a third guy that would be like a second guy on another person's team, and maybe even if you get a 4th running back that's going to be, that would be a number 2 on somebody's team. So you got 2 running back 1s and 2 running back 2s on your team. You're essentially set at the running back position. You can grab one guy later on in the draft, that maybe has some upside, like last year, maybe like a Kerryon Johnson, or like this year, like maybe a Miles Sanders, that where an injury is going to propel this person, or Ito Smith. These guys are going to be propelling to running back 1, running back 2 statuses if somebody goes down, and that's kind of what you want. You want 2 RB1s, 2 RB2s, and then to grab a 5th running back. And depending on how your structure is set up, I'm a 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. And so for me, I'm getting 4 running backs, and I'm ending the draft with 5 on my team. So, and 4 are going to be running back 2s or above. And then that's when I start targeting my wide receivers, right? So in the 5th round, 4th, 5th round, depending on who's available and where I am at the turn, 4th, 5th round is when I'm going for the wide receivers. And in this, I usually go for people that are consistent, because I've got the upside now with the running backs. I've got the running back juice, and now I just need to get that wide receiver consistency. So I target people at that point. I'm looking at my Jarvis Landrys, Golden Tates, these guys that are getting, your guaranteed points each week. You can rely on them. You can count on them to get peppered with targets. They're going to get their 5 to 7 catches a game, maybe for 50 yards. But those are the guys that I'm looking at grabbing, because then they shore up my wide receiver position. And then I can go a little bit more risky on the wide receivers as well, because I got all this running back support, right? And for the most part, if I got a Jarvis Landry and let's just say a Golden Tate, now I know he's not as great, he's on a different team now, but if I go with those 2 guys as my wide receiver 1 and 2, who else am I going to grab that's going to replace those guys that I can count on, right? So that's where I might start going high risk on my wide receivers. All right, I grab these guys. Like my next receivers are going to be guys that are either wide receiver 2s, 3s. They got great offenses. So you're looking at maybe last year's Juju Smith. I'm trying to think. I think Juju went higher last year anyways. He probably wouldn't have been in like the 7th or 8th round. But I mean, when you're talking consistency, you're talking Edelman, Landry, Tate, those guys there, those are the guys you're looking for. So you got these, if you're in a high PPR, if you're in a PPR, full PPR league like I am, those are the guys that are going to get you points every single week because of the receptions. They might not get a ton of yards or a ton of touchdowns, but they get that guaranteed points, and the upside you get from having all these running backs is where you're really going to shine. And then after that, I've already told you guys before, my last 4 picks are tight end, quarterback, defense, kicker. Lately, though, with the state of the tight end situation, I have been actually aiming in mock drafts and grabbing Vance McDonald. I think he's going to have a huge season now that Antonio Brown is not there. I was going to say Lev Bell, but Lev Bell wasn't there last year either. But I think with Antonio Brown being gone, there's a lot of targets up for grabs, and I think he's going to be such a stud for where I'm getting him. So I am grabbing him in the 9th or 10th round. He's going that late. So to me, the replacement of a wide receiver that I'm just trying to take a gamble on isn't even worth my time. I'd rather have a tight end that has a lot of upside, such as Vance does, than to have somebody like, that I get stuck with at the end that I'm just like, I'm dreading and looking at the tight end waivers every single week because this guy's, I'm just ticked off that my tight end is getting me 3 points. And sometimes they will get you 3 points, right? But if you go through it with the right mindset, you'll be so stacked at all your positions that, when you drop down to grab that tight end at, slot 10, 9, 10 in the 10th round, 9, 10th round, and you grab him, he shores up your team. And when you can get value that late in the draft, that's how you win the league. Because you get a tight end, like Kittle last year. You could have grabbed Kittle even off the waiver wires, I think. But you could get somebody like Kittle that is going to end up being like the wide receiver, I don't know if he was the 1 or the 2 or the 3 last year, but he was a freaking beast. And you got him in the last round. And so that's what I did last year with Mahomes too. I grabbed Mahomes he was my 3rd to last pick. I think I went Trey Burton or something like that last year. Trey Burton or Jack Doyle or something. I don't remember. It was Doyle, and then I went Mahomes, and then I went defense kicker. And I mean, it's that simple, because then my running back situation was just stacked. I mean, I think my 5th running back was Marshawn Lynch. Well, I'm now granted that didn't turn out well for me, or maybe my 5th was LaShawn McCoy, depending on how you ranked them. But yeah, and Shady didn't work out for me well either. But that being said, I had the depth at the position, and Shady was going to get me, unfortunately, like 8 or 9 points a game. So I could rely on him to get me that, even though I'm looking for more of like 15 points out of my running back 2s. I want 10 to 15 for my running back 2s, 15 plus for my running back 1s. So if I have 2 running back 1s on my team getting me that 15 plus points, I can find a replacement receiver all day on the waiver wire. You never know who's going to get peppered with targets. So that is my tip and strategy, guys. Go for running backs first early, give it a shot, do some mock drafts, see who you're ending up with, see what you get on your team, and that's one of the best ways to also mock draft is if this is what, a lot of people say, you switch your strategy up during the mid-draft, you never know what's going to happen. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab running backs straight off the back, and I'm going to grab so many running backs, nobody has a chance to get any. By the time they're all freaking out that their running backs are all gone because Jesse took 4, then guess what? They stop going after receivers. They start freaking out because people do. They're very, oh God, these guys are all going right now. I got to grab mine. Everybody starts grabbing a quarterback. Then all of a sudden, all the quarterbacks are going to be gone. I got to get a quarterback. Boom. When they're freaking out grabbing quarterbacks and running backs, you're already stacked with running backs. Boom. You slam the wide receiver button. Bam, 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 bam. And you just, and don't worry about how many people you take in a row. Just look at your team, and in my mind, your first 8 picks should be all running backs and wide receivers of some combination with a running back heavy start. And that's how you win. That's how I win. I do it all the time. And when I was doing different strategies before in my previous careers, my previous leagues, I never had the guarantee win. Every week I was struggling to figure out why was this happening. I went quarterback first one time, and the quarterback it didn't work for me. I was like, what in the world? I have the best quarterback in the league. It was Drew Brees. He was throwing up 5,000 some odd points, most points at everybody, but I'm still losing. And I went with, I'd go grabbing Gronk early, or I'd grab, running back, quarterback, wide receiver. I'd fill out my roster first. No, man, I fill out my bench before I even usually fill out my first wide receiver spot. And because they're just so replaceable. I mean, you're not, is it going to suck when you're going against DeAndre Hopkins and he throws up 40 points? Yeah, it will. If you don't have, Lev Bell and freaking, Dalvin Cook on your team throwing up, 30 points apiece too. Well, I wouldn't go with Dalvin Cook. I'm not really big on him this year. I know a lot of people are. Not really my guy this year, but I mean, hey, at some point, this year it seems as though you could almost get Lev Bell and Todd Gurley on your team, which sounds crazy if you think about last year, if Bell wasn't doing his holdout and Last year's Gurley, literally those would have been a fight for number one. Now, literally, you could get them on the same team, which seems almost unfair. And that, if you're at the back half of drafts, I mean, I don't think that's a bad idea either. Because I would take a gamble on Gurley in the second round, no freaking problem. I took a gamble on Adrian Peterson in the second round when he came off his knee injury. And what did he do? He lit the world on fire, went for over 2,000 rushing yards. I coasted to the championship. It wasn't even a thought. There was anybody going against me knew Peterson's throwing up, 25 plus points, and there's nothing you can do about it. The dude is a freaking beast, and that's how you do it. You get your beasts on your team, you get everybody ready to rock and roll, and you get them with running backs first, wide receivers second. I know everybody tells you, there's no real strategy. There's a strategy to that. Do it that way. Trust me, that's how you do it. I will show you. I will stream my draft live as I do it, and you will see I will go running back. I don't care. Until I feel like there is a drop-off of running backs or a drop-off of wide receivers, I'm grabbing all my running backs just straight off the fly. I don't give a rip who my wide receiver one is, because I'll find a new one somewhere in the draft. Cooper Kupp ended up being, a great guy before he got injured. I mean, and he was probably 10th, 9th, 11th, 12th round. He was like one of the last receivers going. I mean, so you never know who's going to pop off and start, blowing up. You never know what rookie's going to have an amazing year. I think A.J. Green's been awesome since he started his rookie year. He had a great rookie year. So did Odell Beckham Jr. And Odell Beckham Jr. got off the waiver wire his rookie year. Now, I mean, you can't touch Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, unless you're in the first or second round. Maybe not he's on the Browns, maybe the second round. But I mean, that's the idea. You have to understand that there are players out there every week that are going to be great players you can pick up off the waiver wire. You have to understand that the position that is less out there on the waiver wire is the running back position. You're not going to get an RB1, but if you get these RB2s and RB1s right off the first 4 picks, I mean, you're running through, or maybe your first 3 picks, and then you go wide receiver. If there's a stud still there, like somehow Mike Evans slipped to the 4th round, gosh, I mean, yeah, I would do that, and then I would go grab the running back next. And that's kind of how you would approach that strategy. But definitely my first 2 picks will be running backs. Always. That is it. I mean, and there's no questioning it. So that's it, guys. That's my strategy. That's my tip for the day. Try doing it in your mock drafts. Go with the running backs. Go with them early. See how your team looks, and just get ready to hear your friends and whoever's in your league just be like, "Well, you got all the running backs." Yeah, you got all the running backs because you're smart and you know how to do it. And there's a real strategy to winning fantasy football. It's not all luck. Daily game to games are luck. Winning and making it to your championship is not luck at all. It's all strategy. It's all knowing exactly what to do and how to play. And that's really it. I mean, it's that simple. There are lucky games and there are lucky games that people have, where you have somebody blow up that for 200 and something yards and, a couple touchdowns, and, you can't predict those things. That's luck when somebody beats you like that. But otherwise, it's all strategy, and not everybody that plays against you gets lucky every week. So with that, you get to go up into the championship game. And so with that, guys, I'm going to end this video. That is my tip. Go running back early. Go running back heavy. Go on Draft Wizard and hook up your mock drafts there, guys. Try that strategy out. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below if you dig it. If that's a strategy you use, or if there's a strategy you use that you think is better than this strategy and that you've used multiple times and it's taken you championships, let everybody know what that is. Comment below, like, subscribe, share. I really appreciate it. And until then, I will talk to y'all tomorrow and see if I can come up with another tip or strategy, or at least something informative to let you guys know to help you guys as we get closer and closer to draft season. And a fantasy football season. Woo! So, all right, guys, take it easy.